Hey, what's up everybody? It's Nicky Bobby here, and today I have another roof rack build for you. If you haven't already checked out my last video on the roof rack build, go do that right away because it's pretty cool. However, this is another idea for a roof rack that I've been thinking about, and I was finally able to make a video on it. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. This is the RC roof rack build number 2. Okay, so here are the materials that you're going to need for the roof rack. First off, you're going to need some popsicle sticks. Now these are 4.5 inches long, and you can use longer ones or shorter ones depending on how big you want the roof rack to be, but for this project, that's the size I'm using. Next, you're going to need a hot glue gun and some glue, and then lastly, some painter's tape. You don't need this to do the build, but it is going to help a lot, so I would have some on hand. So before we start building anything, you want to find a surface that the glue is not going to stick to very easily. So right here I'm using a granite slab, but wax paper also works really well. Whatever it is, find that surface where the glue is not going to stick to it and then use it. So once you have that worked out, the next thing you're going to want to do is grab your popsicle sticks, take one of them and tape it down to the surface like I've done here. After that, you can go ahead and grab 2 sticks and you're going to put them together like this, and then you're going to put them up against this piece that you've taped down. Now the whole reason why we tape this down is to line these up and keep them straight. So we'll go ahead and put them up against this. Grab our glue gun and just put a little bit of glue down the side of here, like so, and then push these on up together like that. You can wipe away any excess glue on there. I'm gonna leave it for now. I'll probably just sand it off and cut it off at the end, but that's all there is to it. Now we just got to do that a bunch more times until we get a full rack. Okay, so the next step is to get your roof rack off of the surface. So whatever you use as your surface, you want to now get it off of there so that it's not, glued to the surface. So what I'm going to use is a putty knife here and just kind of pry it off. Alright, so now that we've pried up our roof rack here off of the surface, we can go ahead and set it aside for now, and we'll come back to it later. So the next step, you're going to want to get more popsicle sticks, and you're going to want to glue these together in pairs of 2. Now you're going to need 4 pairs of 2, and the reason why we're doing this is we're going to make the walls to go around the roof rack, and we want them to be 2 popsicle sticks high. So go ahead and make 4 pairs of 2, and then we'll be able to put them on the roof rack itself. Alright, so now that you have each of these glued together, you can go ahead and set aside your glue gun for now and bring back the putty knife and go ahead and pry these off. Alright, so now that we have all of our pieces glued together, the next thing we're going to want to do is cut off all of the excess glue. As you can see, there's little bits of excess glue all over these pieces, and we just want to go ahead and clean those up so that it's nice and smooth. Now how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife to cut away any excess, and this should do the trick nicely. Okay, so the next step is to cut off the end here. So you want to get rid of these bumpy ends so that it's just a nice straight edge. All I'm using to do this are a good old set of wire cutters, but any tool that'll cut through this will do the trick. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do is take 2 of your walls here, and you want to make marks on them at about a 45-degree angle, as you can see I've done here. Now, you're basically going to cut these marks, and you don't have to have it exactly 45 degrees. Obviously, these are not exactly 45 degrees. The important thing is that they match. Whatever you do, you just want them to match pretty perfectly. I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but you want to get as close as you can. Once you've done that, you go ahead and cut them. There you guys go. There you go. That's the angle you're looking for. So the next thing we'll do is grab your floor piece right here, your center piece, and you want to grab your two sides that have the angles cut into them. And we're going to glue them on the side of the floor just like this. Now, an important thing to remember is you don't want to line up the front like that. What you want to do is line up the back like this. Okay, so just make sure that the back lines up with the back of the floor, and then everything should fit together perfectly. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to clip off the ends of your other two walls. Now, these don't have to be at a fancy angle, just clip off these bumpy ends so that they're nice and flat. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and glue the rear wall onto the roof rack. So go ahead and grab one of your walls and we'll go ahead and glue it onto the back here, just like that. What we'll go ahead and do next is we'll grab our last wall and we're going to go ahead and glue it onto the front like this. Now, as you can see, our front is the part that has the angles, so we do want to go ahead and glue this at an angle like that. Alright, let's go ahead and do it. Okay guys, so we are almost done with the roof rack. As you can see, there's a slight gap right here on this front panel. So I'm just going to go ahead and take one more popsicle stick and glue it up here on top, just to kind of fill that gap in there a little bit. Alright, so now that we've got this final piece glued up here, all we gotta do now is just put some paint on this, then we'll be ready to put it on the car. So the car that I'm gonna put this on is a Jeep made by Axial, and I'll go ahead and zoom out so you can see it a little better. There we go. And so basically, all we're going to do is just take your roof rack and position it where you'd like it to be. And we'll go ahead and take some craft glue like this, and we're actually just going to glue it to the top of the roof. Now, the reason why I use craft glue is it is strong enough to keep it on. However, it's still removable. So if you ever need to remove it for some reason, you can do so, and it's not going to be stuck on there forever. And there it is, guys. There's our roof rack on the Jeep and ready to go off-roading. As you can see, I've got mine loaded up with some random little things just to make it look cool. And that's gonna do it for this video. If you like it, please let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.